Hi, welcome to another week of Chalk Talk. I'm Dave Hanneman with the Courier Sports Department here with Ted Radick and Andrew Williams. Hey, it's the playoffs. We're into the second round. We got 5 teams left still playing.
We do.
We kick it off Friday night. Van Buren's going back to Ohio Northern.
Nope.
Or Tiffin.
Frost Continental Stadium, Tiffin, Columbia.
And, hey, Van Buren came up with a big win in their opener, beat LCC, and looked impressive doing it.
Just completely out physical to LCC. This week will be a different sort of test. Winford will come out and hit you. LCC had a lot of speed in the skill positions that kind of kept it from being a runaway game. Winford will play more physical and maybe have a little less team speed, but by the time the game's over, both linemen on both teams are going to have each other's paint on their helmets.
Yeah, which is, you kind of said, the physical nature of Van Buren kind of matches up to that, so maybe almost an advantage with team speed with them over Winford.
Maybe so.
When I was talking to Van Buren last week, Van Buren, Don Masters out there, he said one thing I don't think we get enough credit for is we're a pretty physical football team. And he says we've got some good athletes out there. And I think in the playoffs, if you're strong and you're physical, I think that goes much farther than if you're just flash and dash and you throw it all over the field. Yeah,
and if you look at it, Winford's only loss in the season is to Liberty Benton in Week 1, and Van Buren played Liberty Benton very tough, only lost by a score. So that's that says a lot. So it should be a real good physical game that Ted's going to get to see Friday night.
Then we turn around Saturday. We have most of our teams playing on Saturday. We got Liberty Benton in Division 5, and we have 3 teams playing in Division 7. Liberty Benton's playing Marion Pleasant.
Yep.
And Marion Pleasant's a very good team from what I understand.
10-0 this year. They have a young man, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Kyle Galick. 4.35, 40-yard dash speed.
Wow.
Not bad.
Yeah. He has touched the ball about 250 times this season and is averaging 16.6 yards per touch.
Wow.
850 receiving yards, 1,100 rushing yards, 25 touchdowns. Those are Week 10 stats. They have another running back who's gone over 1,000 yards, averaging almost 10 yards a carry. His name is Cade Lawrence. They have run up 4,600 total yards this season.
Wow.
So, it's safe to say, after the kind of offense that Delta played last week, I think you're going to get a little bit different look this week from Marion Pleasant.
Maybe a little different this week, yeah. Delta had nothing.
Marion Pleasant plays in that Mid-Ohio Conference, I believe.
Right.
Are most of the schools in that conference similar size, bigger, small?
It's kind of a mix, actually, because, they got a couple temporary schools in there. But,
right.
Upper
Sandusky
and Gallion went in this year. And, Uppers was only a 1-year deal.
With all that offensive talent, some of the scores of theirs I saw, I think they're a good defensive team. Teams haven't scored many points.
They allowed about 1,500 total yards during the regular season on
total
defense. Yes.
Wow. So they've got a good defense to back up this explosive offense of theirs.
Yep, and that's all I know, to be honest with you, because obviously they're not even close to our coverage area.
I know traditionally I've heard the name, Marion Pleasant's been in the playoffs several years, many times, so I think they got some tradition down there too.
Okay.
Of course, Liberty Benton has a good defense too.
Absolutely.
And they got a hammer of a running back in Combs. Question is Austin Combs going to be healthy?
Oh, I don't know if he'll be healthy. He will play. I can guarantee you that.
But I think he got a little nicked up last week.
Yeah, he sprained an ankle a little bit. But this is the playoffs, man. You suck it up and you go.
You suck it up and you play. Saturday we have 2 games at Finley Donnell Stadium. In the opening game we have Columbus Grove going against Tiffin Calvert at 1:30. And then at 7 o'clock at night we got the rematch. Arlington and Macomb, 2 BVC heavyweights, in addition to Liberty Benton and stuff. First game, Columbus Grove and Tiffin Calvert.
I think we can agree that the best player on the field is going to be on Tiffin Calvert,
right.
Tyler Long. I think we can agree on that. Now, I think Grove probably has a better team overall, have played a tougher schedule. Right. If you run Grove through Calvert's schedule, I think they probably have a couple more wins than they do. So
absolutely.
a little bit more tested in the NWC. Can run it effectively, can pass it effectively, kind of does just enough, nothing flashy. Runs a little bit of option, and they do what they do well. Mm-hmm. And so I haven't seen Calvert play, but I would give a slight edge to Grove just in knowing what they can do.
I would have to agree with that. I think all around they're probably a better team. It's can they contain Mr. Long? And nobody's done it yet.
Nobody's done a very good job of it anyway.
Columbus Grove has played only 2 Division 7 teams. They played one Division 7 team twice. That was Pandora.
Right.
Everybody else was a 6. One team was a 5. So, and one thing Andy Schiffer said last Saturday night was he told the kids, finally we're playing Division 7 teams. They're playing bigger schools all season long. And like you said, Andrew, that you got to get a little tougher because it's a little bit better competition.
Yeah, not only is it Division 6 teams they were playing and things like that, but just better quality teams were in the
Northwest.
playoff. Spencerville and,
Right.
and teams like that that are in the playoffs. So
Northwest Conference was very tough this
yes,
year.
it was.
Then we turn around, we take a little break, and then we come back Saturday night for the BBC rematch between Macomb and Arlington.
Got to go with the Red Devils in this one. Macomb's a little beat up. Arlington's rolling.
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
I got to be honest. I don't see the game being close.
Clay Grubb is out, and Malachi Abbott has done pretty well as a backup role.
Yeah.
But when it gets to this point in the season, it's the playoffs. You want to be at your strongest, and I don't think Macomb is at their strongest right now.
They're just pummeled with injuries right now. So wrong
Yeah.
time of the year for that to happen.
That's right.
It seems like it was only just a couple weeks ago. It was week 9 when they played, and we thought it was going to be a closer game than what it ended up being. And I think since that LB loss, Arlington has really kind of gotten on a roll. And Macomb, I think, is kind of, after having a real nice stretch in the middle of the season there, has kind of fallen off lately just because of injuries and things like that. And so, they're not at full strength. I think Arlington is at full strength, and I think that's the difference on Saturday night.
Arlington's got that big offensive line at this point in the season. Does that become a huge factor, a wear-down kind of factor?
Oh, definitely. Because not only that, but the weather, too. The weather's going to start getting bad, so you're going to have to start pounding it. They got a big offensive line. They got Radick in the backfield. They got Fuller who can run it now, too, so it's almost a double threat back there. And that's going to be key in being able to wear people down, especially late. Liberty Benton wasn't able to do it last week against Macomb. Macomb kind of made a comeback on them, which I contrast Liberty Benton and Arlington styles, but Arlington's looked pretty good lately, so you got to give the edge to them. And like Ted said, it might really not be that close.
Right. Well, that's our show for this week. Be sure to read us in the Courier, check us online, and see you in the playoffs. Thanks.